Hello, good evening, good morning to some, me being some. Good morning. 12:60. How do you have an overrun on a 4-hour show?
I saw everyone's tweets that were like, they better not have an overrun. I gotta go to work tomorrow. And I'm like, just move to the Pacific Northwest.
It's really the only, not the only.
Just move over here.
But it's one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't think I would ever move from New England. Like that's kind of my area. But what the hell? But again, it was a good show. We're gonna get into it. Corey in the chat. Yeah.
I just want to know, what was the executive choice on a 4-hour show starting at 8 p.m.
You know, I mean, it was such a welcome choice that they decided, hey, you know what? Let's do it 2 weeks in a row.
It's gonna be so fun. I am drinking a Celsius at 9 p.m. and I probably won't sleep. So
now, Corey, who's in the chat right now, obviously of the Body Slam fam, you all know Corey. He did a watch along earlier on this channel, so he did a watch along for that 4-hour. Again, I thought overall we're going to get into general topics because I assume you and I are going to be on the same page about something.
Yeah.
On this show. But overall, I thought the show was good. Like I thought it was a good 4 hours. But what the hell are we doing 4 hours on a Wednesday? It's not of the weekend. It's not the weekend.
Oh, listen, you know, in grade school, they teach you about how to make an outline, to make a thesis paper. And your teacher always goes, there are sections of your outline that you could just take out and you can make a 5-page paper into a page and a half. And it's the same damn show.
Yeah.
That's what this could have been.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, Corey's saying they blame the NHL for this because, you know, the NHL started the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. I believe Edmonton won the first game. The NBA Finals start tomorrow. So they're going up against things. So whatever. Look, again, we're wrestling fans. I'm not complaining about having to watch 4 hours of wrestling. I like watching wrestling. But it's Wednesday. You know? Had to be up early today.
Listen, I'm not normally on this channel, so hi.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, we just started going. We just started going. Listen, this is who we are. Yes, it is me. You usually see me here on Dynamite Up on Wednesdays, but my co-host, Jose, with it being a late night, and he is an early riser on Thursday for work, he was like, nah, dog. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I only want one other person to be here. So
me?
Yeah.
You want me?
Yeah. So, you know, Auntie Collins, if you don't know, I don't know where you've been. I don't know where you've been if you don't know.
Yes.
But you know, how are we?
I'm solid. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I don't even know where I'm from. My dad was in the Navy, so I'm kind of from everywhere.
I was going to say, because you have a New York tinge.
Yes, if I start talking,
yes, exactly.
That Central Jersey starts coming out of me. You know, I'll start flipping tables. You know.
Yeah.
But yes, if you don't know, hi, my name is Auntie Collins. I am all over the place. I'm on Fightful Overbooked. I'm on Our Local Establishment. I'm everywhere you want to be. I write articles for Body Slam. Some articles that get me in a little bit of hot water with with AEW because I have been very uncomplimentary about AEW's treatment of my favorite promotion, Ring of Honor, which I'm sure plenty of people.
I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
So excited.
Yes, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to everybody in the chat, Austin, Nick, Corey, Tigers at the Aquarium. What a name! Is that a band name?
That's my friend.
All right, Tigers at the Aquarium. That sounds like it could be like that. Could have definitely been like a post-hardcore band when I was in my early 20s.
Listen,
Tigers at the Aquarium, 100%.
Were you like a Warped Tour goer?
Oh my God, yeah. I'm probably gonna go to the Orlando one in November.
I am too grown to go to
Yeah,
go to
I don't know if
festival.
my knees can take it, but fuck it.
can't do it.
We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it.
I'm there for an hour and I'm like, see you
I
guys.
I went every year, but honestly, I went
Same.
every year basically my whole life.
Same.
Yeah.
From age 16 until the very last one. And the very last one, I got alcohol poisoning.
Oh my God, come on.
So much fun. But yeah, I'm not normally here on this channel. I'm usually just writing for bodyslam.net. But if you want to include me, I am very appreciative. So thank you for inviting me on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad you could join. I'm very excited to have you here to talk about. We have a lot of people mentioning Warped Tour in the chat. Wow. Now you're making me feel young again.
Everybody knows a local band that was on their local Warped Tours card.
Playing on the back of a truck at 10:15 in the morning.
Absolutely. My band was Moneta.
Okay.
What?
Our band, the band from we had a few, like Massachusetts is kind of blessed with like bands that kind of made it.
There are so many. Oh my gosh.
Like Massachusetts hardcore and like that scene is a very rich history. And there's a lot of bands from around here that made it.
Oh,
Polar
Bear something.
Polar Bear Club.
Polar Bear Club.
Yeah. And if you like the heavier stuff, Vanna was a band that made waves.
Yes.
Love Vanna. There's a band that's still around. Their name is Our Last Night. They're from New Hampshire. They got famous a little bit for doing a lot of like heavy covers of pop songs.
I love that so much.
Yeah, they're like big. They're big. They got signed to a major label. They like get heavily produced stuff. Like there's been a lot of bands.
Listen, totally into those pop goes punk.
Oh, yeah, punk goes crunk.
Punk goes crunk. Oh my God.
Oh. The Devil Wears Prada does a cover on that fucking album of Still Fly. That is just, you hear it and you're like, I didn't even know that this could happen this way, but it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
If I ever go back to ring announcing again or anything, and my entrance to the ring, that is what I want the entrance song to be.
Unbelievable. All right. We could talk about that. That could be a whole pocket.
Listen, let's go. Let's go.
Really. Well, Big Nick is saying, all right, we'll answer this question and then we'll start actually talking about the AEW show that happened tonight. But he says dream top 3 main stage at Warped Tour.
Oh my God.
Dream top 3. All right. I mean, this could still happen, but for me, Alexis on Fire is in the dream top 3. I think, just one of my favorite bands of all time. That 3, they're tremendous. They would be the, oh my God. Where are you at?
Oh my gosh. Because
are you a pop punk or are you, I like, pop, because,
I am a pop punk girly over here, but I would throw down for Under Oath. Like Under Oath was like, even though that they were Christian, I was like, no, but they cuss a little.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing when I used to listen to that stuff. And my mom, I was still living at home, and my mom would be like, "Shit, like, what do you?" I always listen to. I listen to like I was new metal.
Yeah,
come on. And she'd be like, "What do you listen to?" I'd be like, "Talking about Jesus."
Yeah,
don't judge me. That was always my comeback. I'd be like, "Look, Mom, they're talking about Jesus. All right, how you gonna yell at me? They're talking about Jesus." But
definitely talking about Jesus. But guess what? They cussed a little.
Yeah,
that's
fine. I'm cool with it. Under Oath, all timers there. Oh my God. Yeah, because then if you throw in pop punk, like the original lineup of Blink, like
I was gonna say Blink,
like you would want Blink there before
All
they
American Rejects.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a time!
They're
What a
playing.
time.
They're playing in people's backyards right now.
Have you seen that?
I've been obsessed. If I had a backyard for
Oh
them
my
to come,
God.
I would ring them up.
I need
Hello.
my rich friends to find an excuse. That's just, I don't even care. I don't even
Right?
care.
Jeez.
Like just write them a letter. They're doing it. They're doing it. If I went to a cookout and the All-American Rejects just showed up and started performing, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I'm a grown ass man.
Simply pass away.
Yeah, I'm a grown ass man, and I would be like, I'd be looking around like nobody else sees this. Would nobody else is here with that? I'd lose my mind. I would lose my mind. All right. Okay.
I would also throw in Paramore, even though I've seen different variations of Paramore throughout the years, right?
Yeah.
I just saw them live on tour this last time, and she had freaking whatever the heck was going on with her vocal cords. She still sounds incredible. But there was that yellow jean with the animal print top. Y'all, the real ones know.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite version of Hayley Williams with the swooped hair.
I love it. Yeah.
I never meant to brag.
You know? What a time. What a time to be alive. I remember the first time I saw Paramore, I was like, wow. I said they're gonna be something. And then they were.
I mean,
she's a force.
She is.
Yeah.
If it ever finds the light of day, there is a very closed YouTube page of me doing lots of covers of songs.
Oh no, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing piano since I was 5 years old. So,
all right,
that's a skill that I possess. So you give me a piano and chords, and I can learn how to play it, and then all bets are off because now I think that I'm a rock star. But
I mean, you are.
No.
I mean, we all. Whatever.
That's why the page is on private.
Yeah. Great.
No.
I look at you got. I would never. I wouldn't have the guts.
I mean, I remember being bullied online in 2007, and someone said, if I listen to your voice too long, I think I will pass away. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. And then being like, wait a minute, why am I killing you?
Yeah. Because immediately you were like, oh my God, because it's so pretty.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh no, you're a piece of crap.
That's really mean.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So we had Fighter Fest tonight.
Is that what happened?
That's what happened. Fighter Fest happened. It was from 8 to 12. Technically, it was Dynamite and Collision back to back. They actually changed the announce tables in the stuff. Yeah, they changed all of it.
Everything.
Yep, sure did. All right. So we start the show. We're seeing, talent walking through the arena and stuff like that. And we see Toni Storm. Toni Storm cuts a promo on Mercedes. She says she should watch her match tonight. And her, are going to be taped up and ready to tango. Yes. And then we get Mr. Schiavone in the ring welcoming Will Ospreay. Ospreay, they talk about his attempt to get Hangman and Swerve to work together. Ospreay says he's embarrassed. He says he and Swerve have been friends for a long time. And trying to get him and Hangman on the same page isn't one of his smartest ideas, but he can't help but think that the real enemy here is Jon Moxley. And if they can just put that aside for one night, and then get the belt off Mox, then they can go back to killing each other. But we got to put it aside for one night. And then he calls Moxley out. He says, hey, John walks around saying that he hates what AEW has become. Well, if you don't want to be here, piss off. And he does. Yeah. And then he says the company's full of talent. He says the only reason AEW sucks right now is because Jon Moxley is the world champion. Good line. Good line.
I mean, that's pretty big shoes to fill here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. And then he says last week he asked Swerve if Hangman or the Death Riders was the greater threat, and he's starting to think that maybe Swerve is also a threat. And then he says, Shane, I love you. But if you're going to try something and try to keep Hangman away from the world championship, I can't have that. And I'm going to be the one to stop you. So he challenges Swerve to a match next week. And the summer blockbuster that we have next week. And he even said, he says, I love you. I would take a bullet for you. He says, but before I would take one for you, I would take one for AEW. And then we hear this mysterious music, new music, I guess. I did not expect. Let me tell you, you could have gave me 50 guesses, and I wouldn't have guessed that these were going to be the guys that came out right here.
It's my favorite game to play.
You know, and even Ospreay's like, who's this? What's going on? And Crew make their way out. Action Andretti did call him Mr. Bruv, and that made me laugh. I actually kind of liked it. He says, Mr. Bruv, and he's talking about, him and Shivani being cute and all. And then they start chanting, the crowd's letting them have it. And then he really just gives the mic to Lio Rush. Lio Rush says, hey, Will, you are a true Brit. I love that you're a true Brit. He goes, the crowd loves it. He goes, but Brits always do a lot of yapping. He goes, we just got off a flight from Japan. He goes, and I'm ready to fight tonight. He goes, I got a little pent-up anger. I'm ready to prove something. And he goes, and personally, I think the worst thing about AEW is your dumbass. And then Ospreay kind of says, I'd love to help you work that anger out. He goes, I got my pants upstairs. And then he literally goes to the crowd, who wants to see a Will Ospreay match tonight? And it's the loudest pop of the whole night. It's the loudest pop of the whole night. And then they say on the second half of this 4-hour extravaganza on Collision, we are going to get Lio Rush and Will Ospreay. And then he says, I'll see you, Swerve, next week. So what'd you think about this this opening promo from Mr. Ospreay?
Call me a traditional girl. Starting your episode with promo face-off, multiple different things. I mean, Tony's in there with Mercedes calling her out. Now we have Ospreay and Swerve, and then Lio Rush comes out with Action Andretti. Like, we are setting up the stage to what is going to happen tonight and what's going to happen next week. Mm-hmm. This is how you do it. This 4 hours is a long time, people. Come on. Yeah. We have to let the children know, because guess what? Yesterday, how many matches were listed? 4, 5. Mm-hmm. That's all you got. Now we've filled in the blanks of what to expect on a 4-hour long show. Give me 14 of them right now. I love it. I love an opening segment with a promo, because now you're giving me what I'm expecting to happen on a show. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
I liked it. Yeah. Austin Shepard in the chat saying, I already have my fake 10. That was a line he said. I already got my fake 10 on, bro.
I do have to say, as someone who is from, my family originates from Northern England. Let me tell you, there is just something the sun does to us, and it does not turn us tan.
That's fair. Red. And I assume you get red. It
turns us red.
Yes.
Or we just look like, a rotisserie chicken. That's it. We just look like a rotisserie chicken. The only way that you're going to look good on TV is with a little bit of a spray tan, and you'll still look pale. You'll never be MJF orange.
I was going to say, how come so many wrestlers seem that they can't get that under control? Is that a hard thing? I've never had a spray tan in my life.
Well, here's the thing. You can get a cheap spray tan, and it's because all your undertones, right? You can either have like grayer undertones, greener undertones, peachier undertones, red undertones. Green. But if you're using the same kind of developer, because that's what it is, it's basically little dye particles that are going on your skin. If you're using the same one with a generic base, I mean, hello, we all know what blue looks behind, gray. It just kind of muddies it up.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes some of the wrestlers pull green, especially in their armpits. It's because of their undertones of their skin. Lesson for all y'all. Learn your undertones And
how
then
does one learn their undertones?
What are the colors of your veins?
Oh, gotcha.
You got to see.
Oh, okay, fair.
If they're blue, if they're green, if they're purple, those would be your undertones that are on top of it, because think of what your blood color is. So,
see, we're learning tonight, guys. We're not only just talking about wrestling, we're learning.
It's a beauty school dropout over here, okay?
We are learning. This is what is called being productive. All right?
Yes. So learn what your undertones are and then get your spray tan accordingly. Don't just go to, a tropic sun or whatever your tanning place is.
Yeah.
Figure it out and then call a good spray tan artist,
Yeah, I love it. All right, we have Mark Briscoe cutting a promo on Mr. Jon Moxley. He says, yeah, you got the best of me last week. He goes, but when I got home, my little boy asked me if I quit last week. And I said, no, I didn't quit. You win some, you lose some, but I didn't quit. And he goes, but now you're getting a different type of Mark Briscoe. He says, because my kids are doubting me. So I got to bring my family to Dynamite on Wednesday, and I got to watch them. I need them to watch me whoop a man's ass. And he goes, then Moxley better be ready to man up. You better be ready to man up. And then we got Jon Moxley versus Mark Briscoe. Imagine
your father is Mark Briscoe.
I can't. That would be a great time.
It would be absolutely wild house.
Yeah, it would be a great time. It would be a great time.
Even though this is obviously kayfabe, because I don't think that his son, whichever son it was, would say such a deeply storyline comment.
Incredible if his son was like, hey, Dad, you quit last night, you bitch. Like that's what it sounds like. That's what that sounded like. I don't know how old his kid is. I assume he's young. Yeah. But like
he's got like at least 15 of them, right? Like he just
I think so.
Something. It's astronomical amount. And you know what? God bless him, because I cannot deal with I can deal with 0 of them. That's why I'm auntie, not mommy.
It's fair. It's fair. Can I tell you?
Sure.
When Mark Briscoe is around, when he's on I never have a bad time. I never have a bad time with Mark Briscoe.
Imagine Mark Briscoe and R-Truth. Worlds collide.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I guess I would doubtful, I would say.
Right.
But technically could happen.
It would they could fill up the whole 4 hours. I wouldn't care. It would be a long time.
Yeah. That
would be wild.
Yeah, that would. That segment would be oh my god, I can't even imagine. This match between Moxley and Briscoe was about everything you would expect a Jon Moxley and Mark Briscoe match to be. It was brutal, physical. Mark getting his, some of his fast-paced offense, and they were chopping, physical strikes. Briscoe was busted open at some point, pretty bad. Oddly enough, Moxley didn't get busted open. And I was like, I assumed both of them would be bloody messes.
And it happened during the commercial break.
Yes.
That's what I wrote in my notes, is I was like, we come back from the commercial break and Mark Briscoe is just crimson.
Gushing blood. Yeah, just gushing blood from his nose or forehead somewhere. And they continue to trade blows. At one point, Mark Briscoe goes for the froggy bow.
Mm-hmm.
And Moxley catches him into a sleeper hold. And it looks like he might have him, but Briscoe gets a toe on the ropes and Moxley has to break it. Moxley obviously doing the heel thing and, hanging on a little bit too long and stuff like that. And then we start seeing, Wheeler Yuta's out there. He gets involved a few times in the match. At one point, Moxley did this thing where he hit a move on Briscoe, and then he went over to Marina and high-fived Marina, and Marina got halfway in the ring to high-five him just so the ref would go over there so Wheeler Yuta could attack Mark Briscoe and throw him into the post. And I don't know if the post was the thing that cut him open, and because they went to commercial after that. I'm not sure. But, and then, the Death Riders and their numbers game is really the way that this one ended up happening.
Wheeler Yuta looking like he never left Warp Tour.
It's true. Man, what a shaggy bastard he is, huh? My God.
He does. I just want a hair versus hair match where he loses.
Yeah, I think it has to happen.
Absolutely.
I think it has to. I don't know against who though is the question.
Someone with equally impressive hair.
Yeah. I don't know. But Jon Moxley
I was about
ends
to say
up
Ricochet.
Wow.
We can't get there. We can't get there yet. No.
But Jon Moxley wins by referee stoppage after he gets Briscoe in another sleeper hold. Yeah, I mean, I expected Moxley to win, but again, I thought it was a pretty decent match for these two. Mark Briscoe, like I said, is always a good time, and he did all the hits and all that stuff. So I thought this was a good time.
It's interesting that commentary was hyping up the J Driller, how there was nobody in AEW who was kicked out. And when they said that, I go, oh, he's going to kick out.
What do you know?
And I love that commentary does that for me, where they mention it and I go, oh, it's going to happen tonight. And what do you know? Commentary said it, and then bam, it happened where Moxley kicked out of the J Driller. And that was sunset on Mark Briscoe from there, because he fought his little tail off, but the moment that Moxley kicked out of that J Driller, I think it was curtains for him, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was a good moment there. And now, you know, they're obviously going to keep Moxley looking strong heading into All In as we get there. But that was not the only time we see Mr. Moxley. So you'll get there. But after this, we had Mercedes Moné making her way to what we thought she was supposed to be on commentary for this women's match, this women's tag match involving the AEW Women's Heavyweight Champion, Toni Storm, teaming up with Mina Shirakawa to take on Julia Hart in Sky Blue. Julia Hart's entrance, just a thing of beauty every time. Every time. So Mercedes Moné was billed as being on commentary during this match, but she comes out and she just goes, I need my own table. And they bring her table and they bring her a steak. And it was a good sized steak. I saw people online like, it wasn't the biggest steak. Like, people were acting like it was the biggest steak of all time. Like, relax.
No.
It was a good size. I would say it was a good, 16, 20 ounce steak.
Yeah.
You know, if you've had steak, like you could finish it. You can eat it.
Definitely not an Applebee's steak, but maybe a local,
not a fillet, not a little fillet.
No, not something little. The bone was still in it.
Yeah, it did look a little well done for me. It's not how I usually I'm a medium rare guy on the steak, but fine. To each their own. If you order your steak well done, you're a psychopath. All right, I will tell you this.
And if you add ketchup, dishonor.
First of all, I will leave the fucking dinner. I will leave the fucking dinner. I won't even take a leftover. I'm fucking out of here. That's what would happen. That's what would happen.
I dated a guy.
Oh no.
And that was it for me.
You found out that way? Like, you didn't know?
I didn't know. And because
he whipped it out at a restaurant? That if people just tuned in, that could have been taken so many ways.
Listen, I love going to a steak dinner. Like, that's
tremendous.
I don't care. Like, take me to Applebee's, take me to, Taco Bell. Like, take
steak
me
at
wherever.
Taco Bell. What the fuck kind of Taco Bells you got? Where you are?
No, not steak at Taco Bell. But like, you could take me anywhere for a date. But that is like the biggest test of your character for me, is what kind of steakhouse you take me to, how you treat the waiter, and how you take your steak. This guy, he goes, well done. And then he asked them for ketchup.
And this was a grown person?
Yeah, a grown person.
Okay.
In my early 20s, mind you.
So
but
barely.
Still, barely. But it was one of those moments where you're sitting there and like a well done steak takes a while.
Oh yeah.
My steak, 16 minutes, if that.
Yeah. Now, did they bring yours out first? So you were done when he got his steak, basically.
Mhm.
Your meal was already over. You were just
And I love getting
hanging out.
those scalloped potatoes. So
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying to take my time. I got a little side salad action. And then it just looks like rubber. And I'm like, you know what? I'll pay so that we can leave.
Did you ever feel like you were in danger? Because that guy's crazy.
There's a lot of other things that were red flags.
That's a crazy person.
He was kind of like a Brock Lesnar kind of guy.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sure do.
No thanks.
Okay. So I'm going to transition right back. You see that? Professional. Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Mina Shirakawa and Toni Storm. Mercedes, not on commentary, just sitting there eating dinner. And they had a pretty decent tag match. Shirakawa started off the match. Toni came in. Then they started a little bit of reversals here or there. And then Julia is in the corner. She ends up taking over. And then Toni runs in. And Mercedes is literally taking Mercedes is taking selfies and drinking wine.
Absolutely.
Living
her dream. I do want to note that on the little bottom half of the screen, when Julia and Sky Blue came out, they said 114 wins between the two of them, which I went, oh. Combined wins. That's a lot of wins.
That's a lot.
Especially since Julia has spent some time away from the ring, as has Sky Blue.
Yeah, both of them, yeah.
But here they are returning together, and I just went, where are mother freaking women's tag belts?
I think they come. I thought there was a chance because like halfway through the show, Tony tweeted that he had a major announcement later. Which we'll get,
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We got
I was like, oh, all right. What could that be? And it was like, oh, something we already okay. But anyway.
Yeah.
But I thought this tag match was pretty solid. It wasn't anything spectacular or anything like that, but
it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be.
I mean,
they were working Mina most of the time, right? Mm-hmm. So Sky Blue and Julia tag teaming to work over Mina. The crowd is hot on Toni Storm.
Oh yeah.
When she finally gets in the ring, I mean, the crowd is on their feet. They are enjoying this match. There is no lag from the previous match. It is like, I love energy levels like that. Big pop for everyone getting in the ring when they did. And I don't think that there's any ring rust really on Sky Blue.
No, she's looked good. Both times that we've seen her since she's come back, she's looked pretty good. I'm kind of glad that they paired her back up with Julia. Sometimes when there's a long injury or something like that, they come back and they're kind of doing a different thing, but I'm glad they kind of stuck with that. I like the dark side of Sky Blue in that way.
Same.
So I'm glad they did that. But yeah, this was really just more of a showcase for the Toni and Mercedes story. And Mina kind of being involved as well, because Mina is the reason that Mercedes lost the New Japan title. So there's a story there too.
There is a story there.
So that is good as well. And then post match, Toni and Mina are sharing a moment together. And then Toni, she gets out of the ring and she walks right over and just grabs Mercedes. So Mercedes is like, oh, we're gonna like throw down, or we're gonna talk. Like, what's the deal? And Toni just goes, I'm not here for you. I'm here for that piece of steak. And she goes over there and she just grabs a steak with her damn bare hands. Arugula was on that shit. She ended up grabbing some of the garnet, just started eating it right in front of Mercedes.
Honestly, haven't you had some sort of Pharaoh moment in your life where all you wanted to do was have it? We don't want to, mess with fork and knife. Sometimes we just want to take that steak with our bare hands.
Yeah. Dip it in some ketchup and just eat it,
Oh, Terrible.
What about steak sauce?
I do
Is
love
that
a good
allowed
steak
because
sauce.
it's steak sauce?
I do love some steak sauce. However, it has to be a certain type of steak. If you are doing like
a béarnaise,
like a little fig glaze on top.
Don't get me started with the fig. I could do fig all day. I could do fig all
same.
day. Don't get me started on that shit. You can just bathe it in there. You can bathe me in it if you want.
Listen, y'all, send in your super chats if you want to see JPJ and I in a future date. We'll live stream it. We'll get some steak. Like, let's go.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We can make it happen.
I'm into it.
Yeah, send those slam chats, super chats. As you've seen the ticker down below, Shroom Bar, our sponsor here at Body Slam. If you go to eatshroombar.com, you type in the code Body Slam, you'll get 25% off your first order. So go check them out. I ordered my first shipment over the weekend.
So
I'm going to actually have some in the flesh. I'm going to have some actually in the front to try.
But it gives you energy, focus.
Yep, they have 4 different types of mushrooms in there that help your brain. They help you focus. They help you relax. They're good for your health. They're good for your muscles. It's good stuff.
Ooh, I love that.
Yep. So check them out. Protein bar, Shroom Bar, eatshroombar.com. Code Body Slam, 25% off your first order. 25%. All right. Right?
That'll cover your shipping and your tax, man.
100%. 100%. 100%. We then get another dose of Will Ospreay on this show. He is being interviewed backstage, but one Maxwell Jacob Friedman interrupts, and he warns Ospreay, says, stay out of Hangman and Swerve's business. He goes, because if Adam Page wins the title, well, you can't beat him, so you'll never win the title ever again. And he says, and then Ospreay says, you know, Max, you're always thinking about yourself, but I think about AEW. And he goes, and I know you don't want Hangman to win because win the belt either, because you know, and I know that you can't beat Hangman because we've seen.
You know that I know that we know that they know.
Correct. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. And then Will is starting to leave, and then MJF goes, hey, Will, how's your son doing? And he mentions his son by name, and that obviously Will immediately he grabs MJF. It looks like he's going to take him out. And then all of a sudden he kind of pushes MJF and he falls right back into kind of MVP. And MVP just says, hey, what's going on? And then all of a sudden we just see Shelton and Bobby come from behind Will. So he is surrounded. And Will, being smart, doesn't really open his mouth. He plays his role pretty good. And MVP says that we have business elsewhere tonight, and we wish you the best of luck against Leo later on tonight. And then they all leave, but Bobby Lashley hangs around and has a moment with Mr. Ospreay where he kind of straightens his shirt a little bit, kind of, you know, and then the crowd is chanting Bobby at this point. And so they have a little moment, maybe like a tease for a future Bobby Lashley versus Will Ospreay match down the line.
Give it to me.
Please. I like this. I thought this was good.
Absolutely. Also, for those who watched WWE during the trying times, remember that Leo Rush used to be the mouthpiece for that of a Bobbert Lashley.
I've been waiting for him to do the Lashley thing.
Lashley.
I just need it once.
Lashley.
I just need
same.
it once.
I don't need the bending and spreading cheeks.
No, I don't need butt pictures. Like, I'm good with that. Even though it's an impressive butt, Bobby. If you're watching Bobby, it's impressive. It's impressive.
Listen,
but I don't need that part. I just need him to do the Lashley bit once.
One
just
time.
Just for me.
It'll pop 2 people at least.
It'll pop more than that, I think.
I'm into it.
Yes.
But absolutely, I really do think that MJF is going to be doing this. If he's going to keep doing this, or he's ruffling feathers with other people, and then he's leaving the Hurt Syndicate to clean up the messes that he's creating, which yes. I love. I hate that I love this.
Yeah, I like it. And then that leads us right into, we come back from commercial after that, and the Hurt Syndicate are making their way to the ring. You know, they hurt people. They get in the ring. MVP says he's standing with the best tag team in the history of the sport. Says they would put any dream team of tag champs from anywhere and any time, and they can't take the title off them. He goes, if this is where the best wrestle, where are all the best tag teams? He goes, they're in your imagination because they don't exist. And
the real ones know the tag teams don't exist in AEW anymore.
They just no.
They don't.
Nope.
All of a sudden, all the tag teams went, we're leaving.
Yep. He goes, no one can beat the standard of excellence in the Almighty, but he goes, now I need you all to show some respect to the young genius MJF. And the crowd is not having it. We get shut the F chants, we're getting all of it. And MJF says, shut up, basically, you dumb schmucks, doing that thing. He says, I want gold like Bob and Shelton, and that means that he wants his AEW World Championship back. And that means, unfortunately for him, he's going to have to start wrestling more. He says, don't worry, I'll get over it. And he goes, and that brings me to Mexico. And at this point, I got nervous.
Yeah.
It ended up being all right. But I got a little nervous. I was like, uh-oh, Max, take it easy. It's very hot. Breathe. He starts talking about Mystico. He says, the country of Mexico believes that their top guy is Mystico, but that can't be right because I'm the best wrestler in the world. He says, I've sold out Arena Mexico because unlike all of you poors, I'm a megastar. He goes, don't believe me. Happy Gilmore 2 comes out and he, promotes that and all that fun stuff.
I'm pumped for that.
I actually am too. Okay.
Were you a fan of the original?
Oh my God, yeah. That's right in my wheelhouse.
Could quote it any day.
Yes.
You get a lot of tequila in me, and it's between that and Anchorman. I think Anchorman. Listen,
I still haven't seen Anchorman 2 because I know how bad it is, and I don't want it to ruin it for me.
You don't want to ruin it, okay?
Because Anchorman to me is like a top 5 comedy of all time.
Anchorman 2 is if you tried to write the script of Anchorman on LSD.
Yeah, I don't think, but that's not a good thing, it seems.
It is not.
Yeah.
And then the LSD is actually like crack cocaine. So
yeah, not good. I still haven't seen it. I love Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
one of my all-time favorite movies. That movie came out when I was like 10. Like that was right in my wheelhouse. Like I was ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm nervous because it's been like 30 years, and usually when these type of things and sequels come, they're not good.
They're not
usually. And when I say not good, that might be nice because some of them are really bad. And of all of them, I don't want this one to be really bad.
It's the nostalgia pop. It's hey, I remember this from however many years ago. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not going to the movie theater as much as I used to go to the movie theater. I have friends who still have those passes or those Regal passes that they get like 2 movies a week or whatever. And I'm sure that that's like cost effective, but I look at what's in the movie theater and it's like, do I want to invest 2, 3, 4 hours when I could be watching Dynamite?
I mean, obviously on a Wednesday night, you want to invest your 4 hours in the wrestling show. Duh.
Exactly.
I will say though, can I be honest with you? I have not gone to it. And it's not because I'm nervous or scared, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have the same opinion. Like because now movies come out in the movie theater and you can get, but you can get them at home in a month. There's no,
right.
When we were younger, if you didn't see a movie in the theater, you were waiting like 8 months to a year before you could see it.
Yeah.
So like there was a reason to go to the theater if you really wanted to see something because you weren't going to see it for a fucking year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, welcome to the Dynamite recap show, by the way. Now, if you don't go see a movie in the movie theater, I can rent it or buy it digitally in 4 weeks.
And then
that's okay. I can wait.
And then some streaming is going only on this streaming, and it's like, cool, great. Don't need to watch it. Yeah. I will say I did go see the latest Marvel movie, the Thunderbolts.
Heard it was excellent.
It was excellent. My friends, the weekend that I was supposed to go see the Sinners movie,
heard that's excellent as well.
I have a dog who was not feeling very good, so I was like, no. It would make me feel terrible if my dog is feeling sour and going out to a movie.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I will see you later in a few hours. Don't puke everywhere.
Please don't puke on the couch. Please only puke on the linoleum.
Exactly. I will say, though, you know, it might be a movie that gets me back to, you saw that Wicked preview today. Please.
This is not that show.
No, I know. We're gonna go back to the wrestling right now. But
however,
please. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Okay, so he goes after Mystico. He says Grand Slam Mexico. He's challenging Mystico in Mexico, and he's gonna beat him in his home country and stuff like that.
It's gonna happen.
It most likely, yes. And then we get Commander Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. They interrupt. MVP calls them white show enough, which that made me laugh. White. If you've seen Bruce, it made me laugh. White show enough, Bruce Leroy, which also made me laugh, and the Blue Ranger, he called them. And then Commander starts going right after MJF for dumping on his culture. He speaks a lot in Spanish, but he's attacking MJF for insulting Lucha Libre, insulting Mystico, insulting his culture, his country. And then Speedball starts off by cursing them in Quebecois, I think is how they say that. Quebecois. Oh, that probably ruined that. Sorry. And then he says, you're looking at a bunch of international killers, and we're here to answer the Hurt Syndicate's call for the best in the world. Kevin Knight then grabs the mic and says, MJF, if you're too stupid to understand what they were saying, let me translate it for you. We want to fight tonight.
Yeah. That's kind of what they said.
Yeah, kind of.
For those who know, no. For those who don't, we can't repeat it.
No, but I'm pretty sure they swore.
Yeah, they had a lot of vulgar things to say. Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure. And then MVP says they haven't earned it, and if they would like a chance to stand up against the tag team champs, they should start by impressing them and earning it. And then that leads into, you know what I noticed about tonight? A lot of multi-man matches on the show.
We had everyone in 4 hours.
Yeah, except the women, apparently.
Apparently.
4-hour show. We can barely get fucking 2 matches.
I know.
Come on. What are we talking about? You can get every fucking dude that's on the roster on the show tonight. Fucking 8-man tags and 4-ways and 6-man tags and whatever. But God forbid. Anyway. So we have Jet Speed, who I actually really like as a team, and I would be so in on a mini feud with them in the Hurt Syndicate.
Absolutely.
Yep. It was Commander, and they went up against La Facción Ingonoble. Did I do that right? I don't think
that was actually pretty good.
Was that all right? Beast Mortos, Dralistico, and Roosh. This match was just fast-paced and insane the whole time. Wild match.
Yeah. This is what I feel like.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, this is what I feel like would be wrestling on LSD, because every person in this match, including Beast Mortos, makes me feel like I am going too slow.
What did you think about the new mask of Beast Mortos? It was like white.
Yeah, Beast Mortos can get it.
It looked like more like a ram, like a ram mask. I have heard that he is quite an attractive fella under that mask.
Yes.
I've heard.
He makes
It's fun.
Muy caliente, okay?
Yeah. It's fair. It's fair.
I'm just glad to see him out here because there was a long time that he wasn't allowed to wrestle because of his previous name.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just go back and see this, Matt, I could give you play-by-play.
Yeah, we could.
But I didn't want to because I just needed to watch this match because how many moonsaults go into a Hurricane Rana, go into diving off the top rope. Like, these men are insane.
Okay.
They're insane and they do this for fun.
Yeah. The springboard, like, crucifix. What the fuck?
What the hell?
What the fuck? I've seen people hit it before, but he hit that move, and I'm like, how's that guy alive?
I don't know.
That looks like it should kill somebody.
Yeah.
That move looks like it should murder that person.
It is nasty.
Oh my God.
Nasty business, but
wow, what a move. But Jet Speed and Commander do get the win. The beautiful UFO by Kevin Knight. And there was a really good sequence leading up to it where Speedball tagged in Knight, and then he hit a bunch of good crescent kicks. Commander did the running of the ropes and dove to the outside to take out Jolistico and Roosh, and then Kevin Knight hit the beautiful UFO on Beast Mortos to get the victory. And then right after that, the Hurt Syndicate comes right back out on the stage. MVP says they were impressive, even though they got their asses kicked for 10 minutes before coming back. And he books a trios match next week. And he says MJF is going to be fighting in that too. He goes, but right now you're going to get a preview of that ass whooping. So Shelton and Bobby make their way to the ring, but Jet Speed fights them off with super kicks and drop kicks them. MJF then makes his presence felt and gets in the ring, but he is cut off by a drop kick from Commander. And the Hurt Syndicate is sent reeling, and the baby faces end up on the high note here to end this and kind of preview us to next week where we'll get that big 6-man. So the baby face is standing tall, and the Hurt Syndicate kind of leaving with their tail between their legs here.
Honestly, it just makes me want to go, oh, okay, which one out of who do I want to see paired with everyone?
Yeah.
We've seen, so I know that Shelton Benjamin, one of his first matches back, he did the infamous spot in reverse of when him and Shawn Michaels had that flying to the kick, right? So Shelton did that. I want to see it again.
Can I tell you? Funny story. I was there live for that Shawn Michaels Super.
Oh!
That was in Boston, Massachusetts.
Was it crazy?
No, like everyone fucking lost that one.
Yeah, I
lost it. It looked like he did.
He looked dead.
It looked like it was like that. Yeah,
that's a murder.
Like yeah, it was unbelievable. Probably the best super kick. I mean, easily the best super kick I've seen live.
Yeah,
like ridiculous.
So I mean, obviously back in the day in YouTube before it was monetized, that clip was in so many different wrestling compilations that I would just be like, watch this to a friend, watch this. Let me burn it on a CD and show you how cool this is. Obviously I love moments in history, in wrestling history, that are harkened back to current things. We see that with Samoa Joe doing it all the time where he nonchalantly walks away. I want this to be Shelton's thing, right?
Yeah, I did
just keep super kicking people. And his legs are so long.
I love how the crowd they love Shelton. And like they did it tonight again too, where the crowd just kind of chant, and it's just like, I love that he is getting the respect. Not that he didn't from fans, but like, I just love that he's kind of getting, even though he's got plenty of time to go. I feel like this guy could wrestle till he's 60 if he wants.
Listen, there was somebody in the Twitter space of trollism had the audacity to say that Shelton Benjamin didn't have charisma, didn't have the it factor.
Yeah, no.
And the only reason why people think that is because he was never a Vince guy.
Yeah.
Which is insane because
Well,
that's the way he looks, he talks, he acts like. Why would you not?
I fully agree.
However,
yeah.
But I'm also a Bobby Lashley sucker over here. His spear alone. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. So every iteration of this trios match. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, good. I want you. Yeah.
I just love flippy guys versus big dudes. Like that's like Tale as Old as Time. My favorite kind of match. Let's play it here. So
yeah, and that's what we're gonna get. I think it should be a good time next week. I think it really should. We then had Paragon and Daniel Garcia being interviewed backstage. Adam Cole says he appreciates Daniel giving them the time, and he thinks that they have a shared mutual respect, and more importantly, they all can't stand the Don Callis family. So he pitches a match for later tonight. Garcia says that they do have a lot of respect for each other, and there's a lot of things he wants, and right now getting on his hands on the Callis family is number one. So that is going to be the main event of Collision. The main event of the evening later on is that 8-man tag.
Are you into this Paragon name?
Apparently, this was supposed to be their name before they became the Undisputed Era in NXT. Like, this was one of their original pitches for a name, and then they went with the Undisputed Era, and thank God they did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen. I don't know. What are you going to... what was wrong with... I mean, I know the Kingdom technically is not, like, part of the group anymore. But, like, was there... You couldn't have just kept that?
The Paragon means the excellent. Why can't you just be called the Excellence?
Yeah.
Make it easy for dum-dums like me, so I don't gotta Google what a Paragon is.
Yeah.
Sounds like a shape.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm very... I'm not gonna think of the word, but I'm very just on the name. I'm just like, the Paragon.
And I don't want to feel that way with
because I love the guys.
Team.
And I love the guys in there. Yeah. I love them all. Whatever. They're always going to be the Undisputed Era to me. Sorry. Hate it. But every time I say them, I go, that's the Undisputed Era. That's what it is. Then we get the patriarchy. Christian Cage. He's ranting. He's about sitting down, shutting up. When he's speaking, he talks about Nick Wayne's Best of the Super Juniors performance, saying he didn't win. But he had a grueling schedule, and as the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, he's going to be defending his title right here in Denver. Now, we'll get... hold on. Nick...
You know how I feel about that.
Yes, I do. Nick says, I was doing this before you left, and that was light work. And then Christian kind of gets snarky, and he says, yeah, he goes, good, because the stakes are higher this time because you're going to defend it in a 4-way. Now we'll get to the match when we get to the match, but you know what I think would be a good time for him to defend the Ring of Honor TV title on Ring of Honor.
On Ring of Honor television.
Yeah, it's probably would be ideal.
Showing up.
I would guess. And I'm not an avid Ring of Honor. I know you do. Come on, you cover Ring of Honor.
Oh, we're on a hiatus right now.
I mean, how can you fucking not be?
We're on a hiatus because there is no direction, and I'm often scrambling because I have to prep this show. I gotta figure out pictures and all the things, and I don't know what's going on. And they change it from Thursdays to Fridays, and then they go, "Oh, we're putting it on after." Stop it!
Yeah.
Stop it!
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
How are you going to have people want to watch the show? I am not offended by a Ring of Honor title being defended on AEW if it's also on Ring of Honor.
I was going to say, yeah, they're only defended on AEW, which
they're
is the
only defended
except the best champion in the company for 3 years.
I know, 900 plus days. Insane.
Yeah,
insane.
Ridiculous.
I wouldn't mind a Kip Sabian going after the Ring of Honor Television Championship.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind that either, because when this segment ends, and Christian's walking away, he says in passing, Kip has an even bigger surprise coming, or like he says something like that. And, Nick Wayne was away for a month. And that last promo segment that we got with them before Nick went away, when he won that match, and Christian put the belt around him, but then didn't and dropped the title, Kip Sabian left immediately with Christian Cage. And my thought process was, and you know who wasn't there tonight? Kip Sabian. So my thought process was, when Nick's away in Canada, Kip Sabian is going to suck up to Christian and kind of become the new like side number one. And that's what will happen here.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. I could see it going that way.
Mm-hmm.
Platinum Max Caster, the best wrestler alive.
Ugh.
It's incredible to me that he's gotten this shit over. Like, I kind of like it, and I respect him for getting it over. I really do, because say what you want. I know he's not the most well-liked guy, but he's actually, like, done well with this. And I think the crowd is – the reason why it's getting over is because the crowd appreciates it, because they know, that this is kind of –
it's the same reason why we love watching car crash compilations.
Yeah. So he comes out. He's got his petition and all, acknowledging that he's the best wrestler alive. He demands the referee sign it for him. And while he's doing that, he says he knows all the Maximaniacs, baby, want to chant his name, but he doesn't like how they do it. So then he literally gets the crowd to chant Max Caster, the best wrestler alive. And he says, all right, 5-minute open challenge is back. And it is answered by Powerhouse Will Hobbs. And this match did not last 5 minutes.
No.
It did not.
I don't think that Max Caster could last 5 minutes in any sort of capacity for anything. And you can take that as you hear
I'm taking it a certain way.
I just have to say,
wow.
Powerhouse Hobbs, his entrance music is insane.
Incredible.
Perfect person to steamroll over.
Yeah.
Absolutely into this. A+, no notes.
Yeah. One with the rock bottom. He won with the rock bottom. But no, I loved it. Good stuff. And then it was main event of technically Dynamite.
Oh my goodness.
I guess. It was a 4-way for the AEW International Championship. It was Brody King, Claudio Castagnoli, Mascara Dorada, and the champion, Kenneth Omega.
Do you like his theme? I put a little
I prefer his regular
poll.
AEW theme. But again, I like the special entrances when they're every so often. But I prefer his battle. I prefer Battle Cry.
Absolutely.
I didn't hate it though. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but I also am. I've only watched people play Final Fantasy. I know the lore.
Yeah.
I love that the theme is written by the same people who did Final Fantasy music. It's awesome. It's probably a big moment for him.
Yep.
But you know what? It gets my loins.
Battle Cry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just want to hear that, like, when it kicks in and my nipples get hard, and then it's just like, all right, let's go.
Basement be flooded over here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
I'm ready for it all in. I'm not going to behave when I'm in Texas.
I can't. Yeah, I'm jealous that you're going. I'm
sorry. Oh, you should go.
I should.
I'm trying to convince everyone to go as a person who never goes.
It's fair. I mean, I would love to be there. I think it's going to be spectacular show. This 4-way was insane. Again, like kind of how I felt about the other match where you were like, we could break it down if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But how much insanity can we actually talk about? But it was really good, man. Brody King using his power. At one point he caught Dorada, they were outside for a little bit, and he has Claudio sitting in the chair, and it looks like he's going to do that move where he goes and runs and does a splash. But as he's doing it, Dorado hops on the barricade and jumps, looking to give him a Hurricane Rana. And Brody King just catches him and power bombs him on top of Claudio, and then does the running splash to both of them. Oh man,
insane!
Yeah, I love
Brody in
love
pants tonight. By the
Yeah.
way, he's not
Yeah.
in his little chonies.
Yeah.
Full
Yeah.
pants, and he's doing it, and he is keeping up. Here's the thing: you got Brody, who is 6'8", 6'7". He's a big boy. You have Mascara Dorada, who is not probably a foot shorter.
Yeah.
Claudio, who is also tall.
Yeah.
6'8" or whatever. And then Kenneth Omega, who's 6'3" ish. Very different builds on all four of these wrestlers. Very different skill sets, but I felt like everyone was evenly keeled here. But for sure, this made Mascara everything that you would want to see. Yes, it's a CMLL wrestler. Yes, you aren't really that familiar with him, but he made his name known. Remember when Commander came on the scene? Remember when Hologram came on the scene? Everyone went, who the heck are these wrestlers? And that is what we are seeing here in this main event. Truly a work of art. Go back and see it if you want to see lots of springboard things, lots of Kenny Omega teasing his one-wing angel and Claudio then hitting the uppercut on him. Like, just different variations.
Claudio hit a Doomsday Device European uppercut. Which was really, really good. And that was Kenny Omega holding Brody King on his shoulders, by the way. Like
the man who had diverticulitis.
Yes.
This man.
Yes.
Picking up Brody King.
Yes.
Crazy.
At one point, Kenny Omega was in the corner, and Brody King, I think it was Mascara again. He had him in the fireman's carry, and he ran and did like the Blu-ray into Kenny.
Yeah. Into Kenny.
Which looked gnarly.
Yeah.
At one point, and then Brody King was busted open in this match and bleeding a lot at one point as well. This was just a really, really good match. But at the end, Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel on Mascara Dorada, and he retains the AEW International Championship. And then officially they switch to Collision. So technically, Collision opened with the coin drop, and Kazuchika Okada makes his way to the ring. He has a stare down with Kenny Omega. They're both holding up their titles, and they quickly start to brawl. Kenny gets the better of him. He gets him up in the electric chair. Looks like he's going to try to hit a one-winged angel, but Okada scrambles away. And so we get a little bit of a tease, and then we'll get back to this a little bit later.
The girlies who know.
Yeah.
The girlies like me and Kylie, who have been saying this since January.
Mm-hmm.
We need. That's why I purchased this ticket.
Yeah.
What
you got to be there.
I have to be there for Kenny.
Was
and Okada.
probably going to be I would think
main event.
I don't think it's going to main event. Personally, I think Mercedes and Tony should main event. Personally,
I would love women to just main event all the time.
I personally think they should main event. They won't. Most likely. I mean, it's going to be hard not to have especially if Hangman's winning. It's going to be very hard to not main event. Here's the thing. If Hangman and Mox doesn't main event, Hangman's not fucking winning.
Yeah.
Hangman's not winning.
We need a Hangman winning, though.
I think we do.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is I would think that this is probably going to be the last time, if not one of the last time. You know, they had those 4 epics in New Japan. Mm-hmm. This is going to be their first real one-on-one big-time match in AEW. You'd have to assume this might be the last match between these two guys.
I am going to cry the entire time. I'm just going to black out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Ricochet cuts a promo backstage. He says there's a lot of talent competing. He says, but not him in this crappy town that they're in. He goes, but through the entire night, you'll see him looking for people who have the attributes to follow and serve. Jesus Christ. What kind of group you trying to get, Ricochet? And do everything to make sure his quest for gold becomes a reality. And then he does his little laugh. And that is that. So he is still on the recruiting trail to build himself a faction.
Listen, Jade, when she was in AEW, had the baddies.
Yeah.
Ricochet is going to have the baldies.
Oh, wow. Imagine.
I did it. I solved it right there.
Idea. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
That might be on TV. That's a great idea. We then had Lio Rush and Will Ospreay.
Finally.
You know,
here we go.
Yeah. Man. I mean, again, not the longest match in the world, but their styles are very similar. Even though Will Ospreay looks like a giant compared to Lio Rush. It's like fucking giant.
It's very anything you can do, I can do better. And
yes.
I think Lio Rush does not get enough credit for the type of wrestler that he is, the skills that he possesses in such a tiny frame. And I say tiny frame as in someone who, when I met him, was towering over him. And I went, oh, oops. Sorry, bro. Didn't realize how short you are. You can't say that to a wrestler's face. Anyways, but it's very anything you can do, I can do better. And that's really what I put in my notes here is what Will Ospreay answered Lio had a response for. Yep. And I think the coat, by the way, is the funniest thing ever. It is so funny. It's so camp. It's so fashion. It's so like Goomba kind of,
Oh, yeah.
Mario.
It yeah, it has that vibe.
It does have that vibe. However, I really did love this match. It was great to open up with, but Action Andretti just it's not he's not at that level. He was at that level when he beat Jericho years ago. But there's some aura that has been lost from Action Andretti that we're trying to elevate in the Lio Rush world. And it's whatever. But during the match, we do see Action Andretti try to get involved
multiple times.
It kind of pulled me out of like the classic that we were watching, that I'm just watching these people wrestle and I'm getting distracted. Distractions can be a great thing, but this was just not it for me. Yeah.
That part of it, I can see. And because it kind of was like, okay, so like Ospreay is going to end up having to overcome more odds to win this match, and that's going to be the play and stuff like that.
Can a white meat baby face get any whiter? Truly.
Well, yeah, kind of, because right after the match, Action Andretti jumps Ospreay from behind. He's putting the boots to him. They do the double team neck breaker. But Hangman, Adam Page's music hits. He makes his way to the ring. Andretti goes after Hangman, but Hangman teases the buckshot, but they run away. Hangman then helps Will Ospreay to his feet. They do a little fist bump, and then Ospreay leaves, and Hangman gets on the mic. And he says, hey, if Will's going to have my back, then I'm going to have his. Because Hangman is an honorable man. He goes, but I need to make one thing clear. I am my own man, and I don't need help to win the world title. Not from Will Ospreay, and definitely not from one of the worst men to ever walk on this planet. He says he doesn't need help from the kind of man who would threaten the safety of his family for his own glory. He said, last week I made a promise, and tonight I'll make another. I will never need, nor will I ever accept help from Swerve Strickland.
Again, the foreshadowing that we are casting here. He says, oh, I'll never need that. Guess what? You're going to be wrong.
Yeah.
And until he realizes that he needs Swerve.
The play here is Swerve is the guy that's gonna like help him win the title. Like that's what it is, right? Like Swerve is gonna come out and it's gonna be like, and Swerve is gonna make the best decision for AEW, and he's gonna help Hangman do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be a moment where it's gonna be like, oh my god. And then after the match, Swerve should murder him. But
listen, though the feud that they have had is probably one of my favorites in AEW history. So
it's so good. It's so good. It's so
I
good.
love it.
Yeah. But then he starts talking about All In. He says, All in Texas will be my night and will be a night for all of us. He says, I'm going to win the title. I'm going to take it out of the briefcase and I'm just going to show it to the world again and lift it high, you know. And then all of a sudden, Moxley slides into the ring out of nowhere. And
I didn't know he was going to be there.
No, me neither.
That was very, very sly, very cheeky.
Yeah. And then they're having a little bit of a stare down. And then we see Marina Shafir. We see Wheeler Yuta. We see Claudio. They all start surrounding the ring. And then we see a hobbled Will Ospreay making his way back to ringside with 2 steel chairs. He gives one to Hangman. And they stand in the ring with chairs, and the Death Riders retreat. And that's how that ends. So the alliance with Ospreay and Hangman is strong, having each other's back. They both proved that they had each other's back in this segment. I don't know if we're going to get a tag team match, Claudio and Wheeler versus Hangman and Ospreay on the road here to All In at some point, maybe. But I liked it. I liked this segment here.
I did too. We have what, 42 days, 41 days?
Slightly over 6 weeks, I think. Slightly under 6 weeks or so, or just under 6 weeks, maybe.
We have some time to build, but we need to start going a little bit more, especially since we have 4-hour episodes.
Yes.
Y'all.
I mean, look at how else you're going to build it. You get double episodes, man. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. We had Don Callis backstage with Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. He accepts the challenge from Adam Cole. And furthermore, he tells Bandito to bring the Outrunners with him because he's got Takeshita and Fletcher lined up to team with the best luchador in the history of wrestling, Hechicero. And Hechicero cuts a promo in Spanish about how he's here and he's with his family. Takeshita in Japanese says he's number 1. And then Callis basically says, and Kyle Fletcher's here too. And we're going to kick some ass tonight. And that's how that ends. It was fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, it's fine and regular.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, the Don Callis family has the best titties in all of wrestling history with Takeshita, with Kyle Fletcher, and now Hechicero. So
yeah, incredible, isn't it?
It is.
We then had FTR in tag team action against Atlantis Jr. and Templario. Did I say that? Templario?
Yeah.
I mean, listen. FTR is FTR. They don't have bad matches. I don't know much about the 2 fellas they were wrestling, so that kind of took. Now listen. I thought the match was fine to good. I thought it was fine. Mm-hmm. It was clearly a match that a hard fought bout that FTR was going to get the win.
Sure.
Which they did. But the fact that I don't really know much about the other 2 fellas, and I know they're not really like standalone AEW guys, it took a little bit of interest out of it for me. But again, overall, like if you're just standalone watching the match, like yeah, it was a pretty good match between these guys.
I mean, Atlantis Jr. is a former Ring of Honor television champion. Mm-hmm. If you aren't familiar with him, you could be familiar with his father, who his father is still wrestling. Yeah. And for the first time in Ring of Honor history, a father and son tag team together.
Oh yeah.
Which that had never happened and happened just a couple weeks ago. Templario is well esteemed. The 2 are incredible to watch in the ring. However, I don't think that this was the right way to showcase that. FTR being heels, they were wrestling like heels. Yep. They're being mouthy to the crowd. They weren't really giving and serving what the other tag teams were in the previous hour. However, I didn't hate it. Wheeler Yuta. Wow. Not Wheeler Yuta. Cash Wheeler. I wrote Wheeler in my notes, and my brain instantly goes to Wheeler Yuta. Whoops. Cash Wheeler. I think he has a nasty German suplex. And there were a couple of them in here that I thought just about rocked these little guys.
It's like a high-angled German suplex.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
It's a little less snappy, like a good Snapdragon suplex.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it. I don't know how I feel about being paired up with Stokely. I don't know how that's going to pay off. I need to get them in the title contention area before I get disinterested again.
Yeah.
But this match served what it did. There were a couple like botch spots, in my opinion, that they tried to hide with panning the camera somewhere else.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little bit too clunky for me to give it any sort of note. But I did want to note that Cash Wheeler, who has me blocked on Twitter,
what'd you do?
I'm mouthy. Listen, I was a little bit too ruthless when those road rage allegations were coming out.
Gotcha. It's okay. You know,
listen,
it happens. It happens.
You get a couple tequila shots in me. I'll go after anyone. So
noted.
But I'm told that both of them can be very block happy.
Okay, that's fair. They seem like maybe they could be those type of guys. Speaking of Stokely after this match gets in the ring, gets on the mic, says he has something important to say. He says FTR won again. They're the winningest tag team in the company. They have the most wins. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone falls to FTR. Dax grabs the mic, but the crowd won't be quiet. They're just harassing him, not letting him speak. So then he says, you know what? You idiots don't get to hear me speak. And that is it. So, and then they talk shit the whole way up the ramp to the crowd. And that is how it ends.
Fair.
Yeah. So then we had, you guessed it, another multi-man match. Trios match. It was Bandito and what did they call themselves tonight? Los Outrunners?
Los Outrunners, yep.
Yes, Los Outrunners. Wearing masks and everything. God bless. Against the Don Callis family, Hechicero, Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher is, I mean, so isn't Takeshita too. Like, they're both, Takeshita might be the best pound-for-pound wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
And Kyle Fletcher is like 25. And what he's done over the last year to year and a half is insane. How he's gone from a really good, it's stupid.
It's so dumb. And he serves see you next Tuesday everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
The way that he cut up his like Protostar shirt, I was looking at it and I was like, he cut the sleeves weird. And he made it into a crop top, but he has the little frilly parts. And I go, this man.
Yeah.
What kind of brain is he on? It's kind of the same wavelength that I think like Juice Robinson has.
Yeah.
Where it's just y'all live in your own delusion, and I want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a fun match. I mean,
this was fun.
Los Outrunners losing their steam a little bit. I mean, that's kind of what happens in the AEW tag division.
Listen, you get your tag. They'll give you the heat up. You'll get your tag title match. You'll lose, and then we never hear from you ever again. So
they should have got it back then. I'm gonna say it. They should have gotten something,
Yeah.
But they've kind of lost a little bit of steam. But I mean, Bandito was really fun.
Yeah.
To watch. I mean, he is the Ring of Honor
world champion. Sure is.
Have we seen him on Ring of Honor? No.
No, he's on Six Mans and Dynamite losing. So
tell me how I like that.
Yeah, how do you like that?
I hate it. I hate it here.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. But at the end, they did kind of like so Kyle Fletcher hit a brain buster on one of the outrunners at the same time that Takeshita hit the Falcon Arrow on one of the outrunners, and Kyle Fletcher ends up getting the pinfall victory over one of the Los outrunners. Obviously, they weren't going to pin Bandito because he is the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. So that is why that happened that way. But again, look at AEW knows how to do these multi-person tag matches. They've been doing them every week on Dynamite. The All-Star 8-man, All-Star 6-man. They know how to book them. They're always wild. They're always entertaining. And there were a lot of them on the show tonight. And this was one of the handful that we had on the show. That was just, it is what it is. It breaks down. They all get their shit in. It's high flying, fast paced. Everyone's hitting move, flip. And they're just insane. It's just a good time. And this was another one of those. We then got a recap of the tag match last week between Harley Cameron, Anna Jay, Penelope Ford, and Megan Bayne. That leads to Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne cutting a promo. And it seems like they're going to cut a promo on Anna Jay, but then the camera pans down and we see that they're like in mid beatdown of Anna Jay, and they grab her and take her out on the stage. Megan Bayne picks her up and puts her in the fireman carry, and Penelope Ford goes, "No, don't do it on the stage. Throw her off the stage." And it looks like she's going to do the F5 off the stage, and we get the return of Ty Mello. This was a nice moment.
It was such a great moment, and I love seeing her because she loves wrestling.
Yeah,
she loves wrestling since the infant days in NXT to now. She's always loved wrestling, so I love seeing her return. Can I just say though, I went, wait a minute, whose music is that?
Yeah,
sounded like Sammy Guevara's.
It did. They did the same kind of. They did the same kind of beginning.
Yeah, Ty
Mello. Yeah. So it's like I assume they got the same guy or the same person to do it, but
it's probably Ruckus. Yeah.
Yeah. I was.
It's good.
Yeah. No, but good to see her back. So that's fun. That's fun. And she came out helping Anna Jay, which obviously her and Anna Jay were on-screen, friends forever. Their characters, they were tag teams.
That street fight where they're bloody.
Oh,
it's at Daly's place. Insane.
100%. We then had Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowens backstage. Bowens announces that it is the Pride of Pro Wrestling Month. And they need to have a month full of big moments and joy. And there's a guy who's reinvented himself into a proto star. He says, so next week he wants to whip Kyle Fletcher's ass all over Portland. So next week we're getting Anthony Bowens and Kyle Fletcher. That should be good.
Can we give Anthony Bowens a win that's not just Max Caster?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to beat Kyle Fletcher, sadly.
No.
But I do feel like, listen, do I think they've executed it first of all, to me, Billy Gunn needs to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I need Anthony Bowens to be this guy. Like, I love the Pride of Pro Wrestling gimmick. It makes sense. He was like a minor league, or like he's a really good baseball player. So the 5-tool player thing also makes sense.
Yeah.
I like everything. They gave him new music, new presentation. Cool. Daddy ass Billy Gunn needs to get out of there, because you're never going to not think of the Acclaimed if he's there.
Daddy ass. That's
that. The scissor stuff is over with, man. Like, let Bowens be this guy and grow into whatever this character is going to be, and he needs to do it by himself.
Yeah, I think he's definitely holding him back in this sort of scenario, especially when you're recreating yourself. How many times have we seen a wrestler try to recreate themselves and it doesn't work? I really want this to work. I think the fans want this to work. So Tony Khan, if you are watching this at an hour and 30, make Anthony Bowens a winner again. Let's go.
That's all we need. That's all we need. Okay. Ricochet makes his entrance. It's going to be on commentary for this Ring of Honor World Television Championship match. So does this tell me? I mean, I know Ricochet was out there trying to recruit guys, but it was AR Fox, who I love. I love AR Fox. Versus Lee Johnson versus Sammy Guevara versus Nick Wayne, who is the champion. Another multi-man match. And it was another good one with these four guys. A lot of crazy spots. AR Fox is a psychopath in a good way. The stuff he does is just incredible. He's so good. It's good to see Sammy Guevara on Dynamite back-to-back weeks, like 2-3 weeks in a row. So it's kind of good to see him back in the mix on the main show. It's good to see Lee Johnson as well. He's really good. We don't see much of him. But, I mean, this one to me, when they announced it, like it was a no-brainer that Nick Wayne was going to retain. And he does so with the Fisherman Buster on AR Fox, which they obviously have a history.
Did you watch any of the Super Juniors?
I did not.
I started, but of course, haven't finished. That happens with New Japan stuff. It gets to be, because they have it on so many different events, and not all the events are just Super Junior stuff. They have other things. So it's like, how do you carve out more time for wrestling? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was up to some pretty stiff competition. So when Christian Cage is giving him shit for only getting 8 points, the people that he lost to, it's not like it's, you know,
he's losing legit people.
It's right. It's not embarrassing that he's losing. So I don't know. I want to go back and watch it. I wish that the interface for New Japan World was a little bit better. It is better than it used to be, but it is no, you know, it's the collection is there. It's just really difficult to navigate through. But we know that Lee Johnson has been hanging out in Ring of Honor. EJ Naduka was his tag partner for a while. However, he is not re-signing. So what does AEW go? Oh, just put Lee Johnson with another guy. He's with Vanilla Baby, Blake Christian, which Blake Christian needs a belt already.
Yeah, he's so good.
His match versus Kenny Omega a couple months ago. He didn't win, but it was a great showing. Lee Johnson, I think, he started getting more edgy. And that's when I'm like, yes, it's this. And we've seen this guy from infancy, right? I feel like he is my little, you know, like I've nursed him, right? Yeah. We watched him during the pandemic era being that jobber when there was nobody in those, you know, no one in Daly's place. And you've just seen him come into his own. I feel like a proud mama over here. Sammy Guevara is already part of the Ring of Honor Tag Champion with Dustin, which I have feelings about. And AR Fox, I always forget, is a fantastic wrestler. And if you ever want to see your favorite verse AR Fox, just go on YouTube and it probably exists.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he has wrestled everybody. And that is why he is still signed. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that he exists. It's because Tony Khan's going to be like, I need to pay this guy forever.
Yeah.
Because he's so good.
He's so good. He's so good. Just tremendous. Just tremendous.
Absolutely.
And then it was time for the in-ring debut of Tekla. We saw her debut last week where she took out Jamie Hayter. And she is going up against Lady Frost. She ended up fighting Lady Frost. Obviously, this was a showcase match for Tekla. One thing I will say, her music was heavy as hell, which I enjoyed. And another thing is the way she moves. I haven't seen much of her Stardom stuff. I know she was a big deal over there, and they mentioned it multiple times that she got fired for attacking somebody.
Yeah.
Now, is that a real story?
Yeah, I mean, it's kayfabe.
Or it's like storyline.
It's kayfabe.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, so that's the story. So she's like, you know, not insane, but you know what I mean? She's an intense, you know, kind of, but the way she moves in the ring, it is very like, it's very like quick. It's hard to explain, but it's like it is intense, but it's like
I mean,
quick
sorry, I was
little
looking up this earlier. Just
yeah,
look at that. Like,
yeah.
my God, she has aura. During the Wrestle Kingdom weekend, her matches involving Athena, call it back, please.
Yeah.
Call that back.
Yeah.
Because Athena, the way that she wrestles, and Tekla, the way that she wrestles, give it to me. Here's my money.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah. So again, Lady Frost does not get much offense here. Couple things here or there. But Tekla, she does the spider walk towards the end of the match. And then the way she can turn, like that little like turn that she does.
I break my back. I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And she hit a good spear. She hit a good spear. And then she put in that like scissored arm bar type move there. And she gets, they called it the death trap. She gets the win. And then after the match, she attacks Lady Frost again. She puts her in like a jaw wrench arm bar type thing. And Queen Aminata makes the save. And Tekla gets out of there. And then we find out a little bit later in the night that next week, we're going to get Queen Aminata and Tekla. So love meeting Queen Aminata.
I notice that there are two wrestlers that Tony Khan has the newbies have to go up against. And it is Lady Frost and it is Queen Aminata. You want to see what you're made of? Go up against these wrestlers. He used to do that with Nyla Rose, and unfortunately he forgot that Nyla Rose is employed because he needs to start booking her. However,
sure does.
Let's see what you're made of and go up against these powerhouse female wrestlers, and I'm into it. Let's go.
Yeah, I am too. Queen Aminata said, "You know what they do to spiders in Africa? We stomp on them."
Ugh, I don't like spiders. Are you a spider person?
Like I'm not a spider person, but they don't irk me. I'm more of snakes, not for me.
Ugh.
Not for me. Spiders are, again, like if I'm sitting here and there's a huge spider right here, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, dude," and I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna get the fuck away from me. But like, I'm fine with them. Like they don't I don't have the fear of them like a lot of people.
I don't like spiders. That's one of my fears. It's why I don't live in the South.
Yeah,
I don't like the bugs. We get a lot of spiders here in the Pacific Northwest, but they go away. Like, they're not around me.
I'm more of snakes and like crocodiles and alligators for me. I'm like, nope, nothing. If I have to swim out of a lake to avoid a crocodile or alligator, and then he can also swim out of the lake and then run on the land quicker than me, fuck yourself. I don't want anything to do with you. You're a dinosaur. Get out of my face. I don't want to deal with you.
When I moved to New Jersey, how many people were like, "Oh, just come swim in this lake"? And I go, I've read that novel. I watched that movie.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
And of course, they tell me that they don't exist in New Jersey, but there's something in the water. I'm not into
something.
it.
There's something. Snapping turtles. There's something.
I'm not into it.
No. You know what I wasn't into? The main event. But before we get there,
same.
Tony Khan's big announcement relayed via Tony Schiavone. So Tony Khan didn't even make the announcement. Tony Schiavone did. It's official.
So.
It's official. All in a winner take all. Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and next week on Dynamite, on the second of back-to-back 4-hour episodes, we are getting a contract signing between these two gentlemen. So it is official, on the books, winner take all. It's happening officially. Okada, Omega.
I'm going to implode.
Yeah.
Wrestling made me cry, period. End of story. Here lies Auntie Collins, dead.
Yeah. It's going to be quite good, guys. If anybody here has not seen the 4, I mean, you gotta go out of your way to take care of it. Take a weekend, take your time with it. You can do it all. You can listen. Take it.
I might do a rewatch myself.
Listen, 3 of those matches go basically an hour long. All right. Yeah. So if you want to do it all right in a row, God bless. Do it. But take a day or two. Just pace it out. But before this match at All In, you should watch those matches. You just absolutely should. And then we were at our main event, Daniel Garcia and Paragon in an 8-man tag against the Don Callis family, who is Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. Yeah. I mean, look, it wasn't a bad match, but I mean, this match did nothing for me.
Right.
I hope better for Josh Alexander. If anything.
Yeah.
You know? Losing a lot of matches, he is.
This is the thing. When you have a main event after a long show, you want it to be something that's worth sticking around for. This match was not a sticking around for match.
Yeah.
It had wrestlers in there that I would stick around for.
Yes.
But I didn't see anything in this match that I was like, wow, I'm really glad that I have been watching wrestling for 4 hours tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think really the only like major spot in the whole match was Lance Archer doing the senton from the apron to the floor on the group. But I mean,
right.
That was, and again, like you said, I like some of the guys. Like, I like Daniel Garcia. I like all the guys in the Paragon.
Mm-hmm.
I like Trent Beretta a lot. I like Josh Alexander. Like, I like most of the dudes, if not all the guys in this match. It's just, it did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. Daniel Garcia and Paragon do get the victory with Adam Cole hitting the running knee on Rocky Romero. One thing I did notice, though, is when they were all celebrating at the end, when Daniel Garcia lifted up Adam Cole's hand, he was staring directly at that TNT title. So, yeah, I think Daniel might want that belt back and maybe a proper run with that belt. That was the vibe I was getting there.
I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
He deserves a full get at it because I didn't think it was Adam Cole's time to get that title belt yet, although it felt like, well, we need to give him a title belt.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and that was it. So again, 4 hours of Dynamite and Collision, Fyter Fest. Overall, I thought it was a good show, but again, a lot of multi-person matches, a lot of not enough women for me. There should have at least been 1 to 2 more women's matches on this show. Hopefully, by the time we get to next week with another 4-hour show, it's a little bit more even. It felt like you were trying to get every guy on the roster on the show, but we only had 2 women's matches and like 1 other segment or 2 other segments. I just didn't feel very even to me. So hopefully next week when we're kind of going through another long show, that gets a little bit better. But again, overall, I thought it was a pretty solid night. I thought a lot of the matches were good, but they were all, like I said, multi-man and just kind of gimmicky and things of that nature. So,
I mean, the show was trying to pack as many people on in 4 hours to continue our storyline. Sure, great, cool. Yeah. However, less women means I care less.
Yeah.
Less actual champions, I care less. I felt like the first 2 hours of the show were pretty great. The last 2 hours felt like they booked it 30 minutes beforehand.
I got that vibe. I was like, the second half of this show is not nearly the same energy as the first half.
And I know that we'll never get those demographics because of streaming. However, I want to know, did people go, okay, that's 2 hours, I'm going to turn this off.
Yeah.
I'll watch the other 2 hours later.
Over the next couple of days or whatever. I think it's possible. I only can speak about the people on the East Coast. But like,
which is almost 2 a.m. It's
2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. right now. So like, obviously, but like if you wanted to stay up and watch that whole show, you're staying up till midnight and there was a 10-minute overrun. So you're staying up past midnight and what you have to, if you have a job that is in the morning, you're waking up in 4, 5, 6 hours. Like, I could easily see them going, you know what? I'm going to watch the Dynamite section of this. And after the Okada Kenny thing, they were like, all right, I'll watch the rest. I'll watch the rest tomorrow after work, or I'll watch the rest over the weekend or something like that. If they watch the rest at all, because you might see the results and be like, I don't think that's anything I need to watch.
I think that WWE, and I don't want to compare, so stop it. However, I think that WWE does do a great job of, we have 3 hours. Yes, do they drag it on? Yeah. Are there a lot of commercial breaks? Yeah. However, they make you want to stay till the main event.
Yeah.
I did not want to stay till the main event.
No, I did not either. But hey, we get to do it all over again next week.
Yay!
Let's go. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me. I had so much fun, and I love that any show that I come on, I take the train and I move it off the tracks.
Yeah.
We come back again, we go off the tracks. I love being shenanigans. So
yeah, and that's, I'm about the shenanigans. I know I've seen very straight laced, but I can shenanigan it up.
All right.
Listen, we talked about a lot of things tonight. We weren't just talking about Dynamite. We talked about a lot of things. I am, that's how I roll. But no,
multifaceted person.
Exactly. But no, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you filling in for Jose. I don't know if we're gonna have a similar situation next week.
We'll see.
We'll see. Be on the lookout for announcements, and we'll kind of, when we get closer, you'll hear what the deal is with next week, as well as we have another one of these long shows. But please plug your stuff. Let the people know where they can find you, what you got coming up the rest of the week, and plug your stuff.
So my streaming schedule is usually Thursdays through Tuesdays, because I am doing a Love Island stream. Yes, the Love Island USA. We were talking about that earlier. If you want to watch me watch Love Island, react to Love Island, have a post show about Love Island, just like here, join me Thursdays through Tuesdays right after it goes live. It goes live 9 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's a late night. So watch me the next day. I'm kind of like your little morning breakfast, right? We're going to talk all the chisme, who's coupling up with whom, who is dishing this person, all the hot goss. I got it for you. That is over live on twitch.tv/queerauntie. On Fridays, Jose on the air, who's usually here, he and I have this show called the Mother Tucking Post Show, where we talk about RuPaul's Drag Race, a non-wrestling thing. But we're going through season 10 of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars. Jose is so smart, and I'm just this bubbling buffoon going, it is Friday afternoon. I feel like an idiot. He's a smorgasbord of knowledge and idioms, and I am just goo-goo and gogging over all the dolls on the show. It is a lot of fun, and we have the best time. And then over on Fightful Overbooked on Sunday mornings, come cry about wrestling with myself and Kylie Wrestling. We talk all things wrestling. We do previews, we do post shows, we do it all. We cry about wrestling. So come hang out, bring your coffee, bring your little sandwich, whatever you want to do. Let's spend our Sunday mornings with you. But find me on social media _queerauntie on all social media. Love chatting with you, and I love to hear all kinds of stories. So hit me up.
Yeah, love it. You can follow me, JBJ Loves Gaming, on all social media platforms. Tomorrow, double dipping over at Love Wrestling CA in the morning, 9 a.m. Me and Drew Nicholas with Firmly Inc., where we'll be talking about Money in the Bank, some AEW talk. And then tomorrow night, 8 p.m., the flagship show at Love Wrestling. Me and my main squeeze, Pluggo, between two beards. You were just with us recently over there.
I'll jump in the chat over there.
A good time.
I am team Mrs. Pluggo.
Oh yeah. I mean, who isn't?
I need a cat update. So
cat update, Christmas tree update. How many they have now? Who knows? Who knows?
I'm over here going, I have one, and I feel like that's too
many. They have 8. They're up to 8. It started with 4. And now we're at 8. Bless.
I mean, maybe if I didn't live in a 900 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, you can find me here on Body Slam every Wednesday with usually, like we said, Jose and myself here for Dynamite Up. On Mondays, I believe, we have the Raw Dogs post show after Raw. We should be getting back to that here in the next couple weeks. We're getting a few lineup changes and things of that nature, real life taking over and things like that. But we should be getting back to that at some point here recently. And then a new thing that opened, my pal, Josh Robinson, we started a thing called The Hive this week, which is a nice little media thing. We talk pro wrestling, we talk pro sports, we talk entertainment, we talk movies, we talk video games, we talk all sorts of things. The launch week started this week on Monday. I have a show over there with my pal CJ called The Swarm. We have 2 shows a week where we talk about pro wrestling on one of them, and we talk about pro sports on the other. So, yeah.
It's everything you love all in one.
All in one. So go follow the Hive _media as well. So again, Auntie, thank you for joining me tonight. I very much appreciate you being available and wanting to join me to talk about a 4-hour Dynamite on a motherfucking Wednesday.
Thank you for inviting me. I very much appreciate it.
Yes. And for everybody in the chat, we appreciate you. Appreciate all the likes, all the comments. And until next time, we will see you then. There's no outro video, so I'm going to awkwardly put my peace sign up until it ends the stream.
Millennial.
There we go. That's what we are. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.